1. Stream is running. Percentages look normal. 6 seconds, 7 seconds, 8 seconds.
Morning, everybody. Today's Wednesday, June 27, 2018. This is our second run at the pre-show. So if you're confused, hey, we ask that you bear with us. We're going to be starting the show pretty soon here. So I will
10
keep
seconds.
it.
I see it live.
Show. Here comes George.
I told you.
Wearing a shirt that just says Connecticut on it. I don't know why.
Stand by.
It's looking normal from my end, but let me know it looks normal from your end. Thanks, Danny.
This is your captain speaking. We are making our descent into Las Vegas McCarran Airport. On behalf of our crew, we'd like to thank you for flying MMAjunkie Airlines. Now please fasten your seatbelts and put your tray tables in your upright position because the descent is going to be a little bit bumpy.
Alright, Junkie Nation, it's time to roll, baby, on MMAjunkie Radio with Gorgeous George and Goze. This is what we doing while we do it, baby. All night long, we rollin'! Yeah!
The MMAjunkie Radio revolution is upon us.
Can you dig it?
There's no escape. No escape. Through the vast frontier of cyberspace and through a sea of stars in outer space.
One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
We've solidified our combat communications stranglehold.
We are controlling transmission.
With the use of MMAjunkie Radio and SiriusXM satellite radio technology. MMAjunkie Radio. Commence transmission. Live from MMAjunkie Radio HQ in the fight capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada. Here are your hosts, Gorgeous George and Goze.
Que viva Mexico! What's up, everybody? It's the MMAjunkie Radio Show here in Las Vegas, the fight capital of the world, and we're at the Mandalay Bay Resort and Casino. I'm George, that's Goze. That's Dan Tom, back east. You'll hear him from time to time. He likes to say, wow. Danny Otto, what's up?
Did you watch all that play out this morning?
Goze.
Morning.
It was crazy. I did. Little did I know that a team with 6 points going into the last game would need help to get in.
Mm-hmm.
Because you would just figure they're in
You're
for
usually a
starters,
lock.
and that did not happen. There's a lot of groups that the teams are getting in with less than 6 for sure. But Mexico, who had 2 wins already in the World Cup, needed the help of the South Koreans, who eliminated the defending champions, Germany, and now Germany's out of the World Cup. And everybody woke up this morning thinking, well, Germany will take care of Korea. Mexico will just keep on winning, or maybe get the draw, and therefore Mexico and Germany will proceed. But that's not the case. And it went all the way to the very end, man. 7 or 8 injury time minutes in that game. Crazy, but they're in. I'd rather be Sweden and go in that way with that kind of momentum versus Mexico, who had momentum for the first 2 games and now just backed in. Like, thank you, Korea, you know. But, hey, they're in. That's the big thing.
I'd rather be Mexico.
Why's that? They just lost 3-0 to Sweden.
But get your brain fart out of the way.
That's true.
I think I'd rather do that.
Do you remember in 2006, Italy, when they won the World Cup, they beat every team but the USA.
Yeah, and ours was like an own goal.
They tied us.
We were at that game.
Yeah, we were at that game. That's right. The world's longest walk.
Oh, dude, don't get me started.
The world's longest journey.
On my way to Starbucks, I ran into a group of about 10 Germans walking back. The game still wasn't over. There was still about... They had just scored that second goal. They were not happy.
Yeah.
It was like
I'm telling you, they had to have woken up thinking, look at the players that they have. Hummels, Cruz, Gomez, Boateng's out, Kadira, Muller.
I would
Royce.
If I had a briefcase with $100 for each guy, you wouldn't really need a briefcase for that, but let's just say I had it. I would be afraid to go, hey guys, look what I have for you. That's how pissed off they look.
Yeah, man.
I just let them be, and I went to Starbucks.
I'm sure I left out a few of the other players, but they just have too good of a team to not be in it.
Where I ran into the guy with the coolest nickname I've ever heard.
What?
I did this in the pre-show. Show before the show. standing at Starbucks, and they go, it was a very bland thing, like black coffee for defib. All his buddies go, defib. Dude walks up, totally looks like he would be defib. Do you know why he's defib?
Well, a fib is a lie. He'd be lying?
No. Better. Well, kind of better, but kind of not.
Defibrillator. He almost died and he got saved by a defibrillator.
Wow. And that's why they call him defib.
That is pretty cool.
And when he finished the story, he kind of even gave me a look, like kind of like the wink, like, that's what's up, I'm defib.
He's playing with house money. He should just jump out of planes and do all the things he ever thought he would never be able to do. He got a new lease on life. Two new.
What if he's like Jason Statham and he needs coffee just to keep his heart alive now after all that defibrillation and go stop and ask him got in the way? And
I was telling the guys, I felt like they just said two because that's maybe what's okay to say, but it felt like maybe there were more. But yeah, he was defib.
I'll tell you this much, Dan Tom. If he got 7 shots in his coffee,
okay,
he would just barely edge out Luke Thomas, who gets 6.
Wow.
When he gets coffee. I don't know if it's his Vegas thing or his everyday thing. But he would be one short of Vanderlei, who had me get 8 shots for him once.
Oh, Vanderlei's more?
Whoa.
Vanderlei's 8 and Luke's 6.
See, that's hardcore.
How do you even identify when you need one more?
I don't know.
It doesn't taste enough like an ashtray.
Like, it could be that he was just being a jerk, but I checked with him, and he goes, yeah, and then he still drank it, so maybe I called his bluff.
You thought he hit the wrong number, the text? I would have thought that, too. 8 shots a lot, dude. What time's our friend on, the first one?
Emil texted me and said he's running just a couple minutes behind. He says he's on Motown Phenom time. So he'll roll in pretty soon. Emil Meek will co-host the first hour, maybe a little bit more. He's got to get to a practice at the UFC PI. And he's got a fight coming up July 22nd, UFC Fight Night 134. So he's less than a month away.
I meant the other guy, though.
TJ Dillashaw. He'll join us at 10:15.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I already sent him a reminder text. He's not in studio, though. He'll join us at 10:15. So we're going to do that early commercial. And we'll get that out of the way, and then we'll talk to TJ, and then we'll hang back and talk a little bit with Emil. I was hoping to start off with Emil, but he's running behind. So that's just that. What is that?
Dude, you know what? Danny was on the verge of
heck
being
was
defib.
that?
Well, I saw
his heart
like the nachos commercial.
So I don't know if you know this, but if we don't say anything,
yeah, I think he said something like 5 to 7 seconds, right?
Well, what's the time, Danny?
I think it's about 8 to 9, but I tell you guys 5 to 7 because I don't want to push it.
Yeah, if we don't say anything, Dan, for a little bit, Sirius it picks up on it and it'll start playing music because it thinks something's wrong.
It'll start playing the emergency.
How come you're looking at me like it would have been on me? I mean, I don't.
Yeah.
No, you don't have a gag in your mouth, and Dan Tom doesn't have a gag in
I was laughing.
In fact, you two were both on your phones while I was co-hosting.
I'm not blaming you. I'm just saying I was kind of laughing because I was waiting to see how long you were going to push it.
Oh, because you said you almost gave Danny a heart attack.
Yeah.
You didn't say we almost gave Danny a heart attack.
I guess. But I knew what was going on. I didn't know if you knew what was going on.
They're breaking news or what?
No. Every
I keep waiting for like dun dun dun. We haven't done that in a while.
Every 5 to 7 minutes of the show in the beginning of the morning, it's certain, even no matter how early and even prepared, I have certain things saved on tweets, but there's certain things that can only be done once we start streaming. Oh. And then I have to grab links from that. So that's why consistently every morning of the show, if people look on the stream, I'm consistently on my phone for that first 5 to 7 minutes. So I apologize, but no, there's a good point.
So what's happening?
Good point on the stream.
What are you tweeting?
All the tweets for whether it's from our handle or peek behind the scenes, y'all. Whether it's from our handle or MMAjunkie's handle, because I'm doing both. We have to grab those live links now. Whether it was from Facebook or now on YouTube, which hopefully y'all are subscribing to our YouTube. Thank you for all of you in the chat already.
Some feedback on YouTube.
Yeah,
you guys like
stepping it up.
Yeah, exactly. There's a clearer image. The lighting was adjusted. I can't look at it too long, but the lighting was adjusted on each individual person. So John, Kenny helped out with that. I tightened up a little bit there with the cameras. Still wish they were closer. We can't get them closer, huh?
Well,
it just depends on what the dynamic is.
I am 0 for 72 trying to time these in-studio fighter guests. It's not Motown Phenom time, guys. I think it's fighter time because I'll usually, like today, we're set for 4.
So like Emil,
these guys always coming late.
That's why it's set for 4.
Mm-hmm. So now we look empty.
Emil was supposed to be here.
I know. I rarely look at that, honestly. I was just looking at that. That's all.
You know what I should do? I should set it for 3, even though I know we're going to have a guest, and that way they'll be on time. Because that's usually how it'll work, right?
We should take the break. Let's take the break, and then that way when we come back, we can just. I know we're gonna go through the whole. Hey, what's up, Emil? And I don't want it to interrupt Dillashaw's interview, because Dillashaw's got a strict schedule in the morning, and we're gonna do a pre-record. I'll fill you guys in on a little bit of the background. We're just gonna do a pre-record. That's how we've been doing a couple with him, but he was willing to do during the show.
Here? That made no sense.
Oh, just put them by the bag. They weren't gonna go in the fridge.
George walked in like Emilio Estevez in Breakfast Club.
Started
chips and.
Juliet made me gave me some snacks. There's carrots and celery, and that needed to go in the fridge. But the other stuff I put there. But you're right, it had no right being there.
Nice.
All right, so you're listening to the MMA Junkie Radio Show on Sirius XM Rush 93. Again, Emil Meek will co-host with us for the first hour, maybe hour and a half. TJ Dillashaw will join us in a couple minutes, and we're also going to talk to T. Edwards, who won at last night's Dana White Tuesday Night Contender Series, episode 11. He, along with Antonina Shevchenko, got the 2 contracts. A couple guys got shout-outs, like I think Julian Arosa got one. And Dana White specified this guy's going to step in. He's going to step in when we need him. He was impressed enough, and we'll tell you all about that when we come back.
They are the stretch marks on the underbelly of the MMA community. But hey, stretch marks are the new tats. They are Gorgeous George and Goze.
Hear every moment from the World Cup on SiriusXM. Group stage play concludes tomorrow, and the action kicks off in Group H as Senegal takes on Colombia on Fox Sports Channel 83, while Poland plays Japan on FC 157. Coverage for both matches begins tomorrow morning at 10 Eastern, followed by instant reaction and analysis on SiriusXM FC 157. Want to welcome to the show Emil Meek, UFC welterweight. He will be co-hosting here with us for this first hour. And at the same time, we're also going to talk to our other guest. He's ready to go. He's in Southern California. He's training for, of course, the big fight where he defends his title against his rival, former teammate, Cody Garbrandt. They are the main event at UFC 227 at Staples Center in Los Angeles, again on August 4th. And the champ joins us now on the hotline. What's up, champ? How you doing?
What's going on, guys?
Man, that shit never gets old, right? Call me champ for the rest of my life. Is that how you like it?
You know it.
That's what's up, man. I love it. I love calling champs champ because I know the journey they go through from following them. I'm certainly not eating turkey bacon like Emil and these egg whites, and I'm skipping that part. But I watch what these guys do, man, and it's a journey, and they deserve everything that comes with it. TJ, let me ask you this. You've always stated, I'm a martial artist, and we respect you for that. But for this one fight, it seems like, I'm not going to call you a street thug or anything, but, you know, it's bad blood, and it's really, really personal. And does it have to remain, you think it has to remain kind of like for that fight just because of the opponent and the bad blood? Or are you still going to always try and bring it back to martial arts?
You know, you always somewhat try to bring it back, but, you know, when you get sick and tired of someone running their mouth, you stick up for yourself, and, you know, when you get a chance to make them look like a fool, you will.
Mm-hmm. Are you glad that in a little bit more than a month, this will all be in your rear-view mirror?
Yeah, man. I mean, every fight, doesn't matter who it is, it's always good because you put in so much work to beat that person, to train yourself, to see yourself win that fight, and for to get that night past you, and to get your hand raised. You know, it's always great, no matter who it is. But yeah, this will be especially great.
Mm-hmm. A couple other people were kind of making peace, Cruz and Faber. But do you think when you get past Garbrandt, because I know that's how you're thinking, that's something that you can ever have with Team Alpha Male, or is the wound too deep for you guys to ever reach, you know, at least handshakes and you know, being cordial?
Yeah, man. I mean, I've stayed cool with a lot of the guys from there. You know, it's not everyone. You know, it's just the guys that have gone out of their way to be dicks and try to badmouth my name and discredit who I am. You know, I'm not enemies with everyone over there. It's just a select few. You know.
TJ Dillashaw, our guest here on MMAjunkie Radio. He's facing Cody Garbrandt at UFC 227 in Los Angeles, and the tickets are very, very affordable, man. LA crowd, don't wait till the end. Get out there, support. 2 title fights that night. Not only are these guys banging at 135, Demetrius Johnson, he defends versus Henry Cejudo. And I got to give love to my man Cub Swanson. Him and Hanato Moicano. Are you kidding me? That's a 1-2-3 punch. Goes. What do you have for TJ Dillashaw?
TJ, you've had to train before for a rematch. However, the first time you had to do that, you were the loser in the first fight. This time you're the winner. Can you talk a little bit about the mindset of training for rematches? Because you won the first fight. Is it a little different?
You talking about losing to before a rematch?
Yeah. So in other words, because you were the winner in this rematch, it's kind of, I mean, you looked pretty good. Like, are there very many things you have to do? Like, what's that mindset of training for a rematch?
Oh man, you always add new things to your game. You know, gotta continue to grow. But yeah, it does look good. I mean, the rematches I've been involved in, you know, I've always gone my way. I've always done better competing against someone. You know, Henan Barao, Sinsao, these guys have always. The more I get to compete against someone, the better I get. You know, and I didn't ever come off a loss. I don't think I've lost. The only loss I have is against Sean Dawson.
Gotcha. And then George mentioned it at the beginning of the interview. How you doing, champ? And I'm sure you get that a lot. How different has life been for you as the champion? Have you noticed much of a change?
Man, my life's been going through a lot of changes right now. You know, I have a 6-month-old kid that's been changing everything. He's been my everything. You know, it's been focusing on fighting even easier just because I get to come home and see a smile on his face, and it makes all the hard work that you've done like nothing, you know. As well as started my own team down in Anaheim, California, called the Training Lab. That's the gym name. You know, we got the likes of Cub Swanson here, Juan Archuleta. I've been training with Aaron Pico, Ellenberger. I mean, the list keeps going on. We got a bunch of guys in the house, and it's been so fun to grow your own thing, you know, to create your own team and see the vision come together. You know, I've been having Dwayne travel out 3 days every week. He's here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, then flies home. So me and him are about to go hit mid-tier in about 40 minutes. Then I'll take him to the airport later this afternoon. I got a very fortunate situation. You know, a lot of great teammates and more coaches than I've ever had. You know, and not just coaches, just quality coaches, world-class coaches. You know, we have Mark Munoz as our wrestling MMA coach. We got Daryl Christian. We got Felipe De Monica for our jiu-jitsu. We have Dwayne for our striking coach. Sam Calvita from our strength conditioning and nutrition side of it. So I've had a lot of changes, and it's been a lot of fun. Obviously, being the champ is one of them as well too. But like I said, I haven't lost. I've always pictured myself staying on top. You know, those split decision losses should have went my way anyways. So I've been defending my belt this whole time.
The week of, when you have Cody Garbrandt in front of your face, I'm sure you're going to have a different swag because of the way the first fight went. How do you think he's going to react?
Yes, it's already been a lot different. This camp's been a lot different. He's been a lot quieter. You know, it's hard to be an asshole when you just got knocked out. You know, it's hard to be this big old tough guy when I just knocked you out. So he hasn't been running his mouth as much. I'm sure he will a little bit when you're there, but you know, nothing to the extent it was. Look, the guy doesn't deserve a rematch. You know, I'm gifting it to him. He doesn't deserve shit, but he does deserve to get his ass whipped again. And so that's what I'm most looking forward to.
Damn. Oh, shit. Oh, my God. You know, let me tell you something, man. I'm the biggest front runner in the world. I'm going to admit it right here on MMA Junkie Radio. Do you remember when Colby beat RDA?
Yeah.
And him and Woodley kind of chipped at each other? What did I say? I said, the fight I've been looking forward to the most has been Dillashaw and Garbrandt too. I go, but, and this was a few weeks ago, TJ, I said, man, Colby's, you know, he's sparking up, and finally Woodley's sparking up. I think that one's become my number one. And all it takes is an interview like this one. This dude's fired up, and he's over a month away, and now I'm back on the Dillashaw Garbrandt. Like, give me that one. Give me that bad boy. For 2018 is the one I want to see. All right, Dan, Tom, what do you have for the champ?
You know, TJ, I wanted to touch on the training lab and the partners you've assembled there. You got a bunch of different looks, like you said. You got welterweights, like Ellenberger, experienced guys like Swanson. I know you even had a Shorty Torres out there for a bit. How do you look at that? Is there kind of a method to that madness as far as like, do you get certain things from certain partners? And kind of a two-part question, do you feel you're set up now as far as, I don't want to say more of a boxing style, but bringing in guys and setting up your own team, like you said, is that more beneficial than the quote-unquote super camp trend that we've seen in MMA for like the last 10 years?
Yes and no. I mean, it definitely has its benefits to set your own camp up. And I did that in my last camp. It was perfect. Everything was, focused around my camp, what was going on. And you get to bring in the coaches you want, the sparring partners you want. And that's how we've kind of continued it. But this thing has naturally grown into its own team, into our own little family. So we still, the great thing about our gym is that we're not just open to public. You can't just come in and work out whatever you want. It's a private fight team. We teach them use martial arts to keep the doors open, the lights on, and pay the coaches. But so it's still kind of an invite thing only. If you don't vibe with the team, we don't need to make money off you, kind of thing. So we do get to still bring in the guys we need for our camp, the guys that we like, the guys that have the same like-minded training schedules, the ones that are going to go hard and put their nose down and put the time in. So that is good. And then sometimes it's always kind of a pain in the butt trying to get all the moving parts together. But luckily, I've been in a situation that I got the coaches around me that have been helping line everything up for me. And the team is just kind of falling in place. The guys that I want to train with have just kind of fallen in place. So it's been great.
And one more follow-up. No, that does. And one more follow-up on that. Maybe it's not a follow-up because maybe it has nothing to do with the training situation. But let's just say when you get to the UFC Championship, it's like your castle. And you've already been there, TJ, and now you're there again. But even before you got there again, even in the lead-up to the Cody fight, as crazy as it was, I don't think anybody, even the people that were picking Cody, I don't think anybody was questioning your skills. They're questioning the X variable. How is TJ going to deal with whether, the psychology of the fight, your guys' past history or whatever. But you seemed really collected from an outsider's perspective, and now that you've got the belt again, you seem even more collected. What's the difference if you have to name one X variable or just one thing, TJ, now that you're back at the castle?
Just being used to this position, being used to just maturing more in the sport. I'm becoming more of a veteran in the sport. I've been around for a while and had to deal with bullcrap over and over again. And I think, the whole Dominic Cruz situation helped me out a lot. Even though I don't agree with the decision and I lost that fight, I had to learn a lot from it, learn how I fight best and learn that fighting with that angry emotion isn't the way of going about it, keeping your emotions under control and getting out there and making sure that I'm doing it for the reasons that I fell in love with it. I love fighting. The first day I came in and started training, I knew that this is what I wanted to do. And so not ruining it by all the crap talk or the money that's in hand. Just making sure that I'm doing it for the reasons that I love it, and then I'll be able to look back on my career and know that I handled myself the way I wanted to, and it's just made it so much easier. So much easier just to control yourself rather than the outside environment.
TJ, we also have Emil Meek, UFC welterweight. He's co-hosting today's show with us. He's got something for you. Emil, what do you have for the champ?
Hey, TJ, Emil here. I just wondered, you kind of grew up in this sport. From when you signed with the UFC, you were quite young, and now you're not old, but you're older. And I wonder how did your mind change throughout from the beginning to now?
Yeah, man. First stepping in the octagon, you're ridiculously nervous. You should be nervous. That's competing, no matter what it is. And every wrestling match, I was nervous. But it's a whole different level when you're in front of everyone out in the octagon. First starting out, holy crap. You focus more on that than actually how good you are.
Yeah.
Nowadays, or even just when I started to pick up the confidence. Just knowing that the things I was doing and how good I knew I was, and to actually finally believe in it, and to learn to have fun with the situation, because one day you're just going to blink and this life's going to pass you by, and you're not going to enjoy the one thing you love most while doing it, So I wanted to make sure to slow things down, and the person that really helped me out with that was my old teammate, old cornerman Justin Buckle. He always made it fun, man. He turned my mindset into realizing the lifestyle I have and people that would kill to be in my position. Because I was about to fight Mike Easton when we kind of had this sit-down conversation. And it just kind of really flipped things for me, It kind of flipped the way I thought about fighting, the way I thought about the walkout, enjoy that walkout, enjoy the music, enjoy slapping hands with everyone, put a smile on their face. This shit's real, man. This shit's crazy. With the highest highs and the lowest lows, but make sure to enjoy the highs,
Yeah.
TJ, let me ask you this. What felt better, winning the title the first time or getting it back when you beat Cody?
Nothing will beat the first time, man. I think that's when I really got to first prove myself. Fight went perfectly. I was fighting a guy that was unbeatable. It was just a real big deal to finally have that breakthrough and make a big fight, and everyone kind of noticed that I'm on radar. So nothing will ever beat that achievement and that feeling I had the first time,
Mm-hmm. And lastly, of all the bantamweights that have been having a great year, like Moraes, Dodson, some of these other Font and the Sun Sal have a fight coming up. Of all these bantamweights that are kind of trailing, I guess, I think I know what you're going to tell me. You're focused on Garbrandt, but do you believe that there's a front runner out of the rest of the group? And I'm asking you this. I'll tell you why, because obviously you are in a position where these can be very lucrative fights for you. So I guess this is also your chance to map out who the next person may be, even if it is from a financial point of view. You know what I mean? The champs get pay-per-views. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I think with the bantamweight division, it's been kind of tough. One guy hasn't been a breakthrough position where he's a for sure number one contender. You got Dominic Cruz has been out with injury since he lost to to Garbrandt. You know, it would have been nice to get him back in there, and it would have been a great name, but he hasn't even had a fight. You know, Rivera was making a big splash, and then Marias knocked him out. Marias is obviously making a big splash, but he lost to a Sinstyle. So it's all these guys that are, like, chopping up their bit to get up there, and we have a great weight class. And the guy that I'm really hunting for is the guy that's scared to fight me, and that's Demetrius Johnson. And the guy that's actually on the same card as me and wasn't able to fight me because he had shoulder surgery. You know, I mean, I'm tired of all the excuses, and I'm coming for that spot. I believe I'm the GOAT. I believe I'm going to steal his spot, and you know, eventually, if every man's up, we'll get this thing done.
And you guys remember a few years ago when they threw out that $2 million number, and everybody's like, well, that might be a bit much. Now, if they both win in L.A., you can throw that number out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's going to be a huge fight, champ versus champ. But first, you got Garbrandt, too, ahead of you, champ. So I hope you have a safe camp. Thanks, as always, for giving us time here on MMA Junkie Radio. And hopefully we'll catch up with you soon.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on, and I'll talk to you guys soon.
All right, we'll see you. Just under 15 minutes there with the champ, TJ Dillashaw.
Nice.
Thank you to myself for lining that up. I actually got him on the show.
Great job.
I got to give a shout out to myself.
Yep.
So, Emil, how you doing, my man?
I'm all right.
You're less than a month. He's over a month away.
Yeah.
He fights August 4th.
Yeah.
You fight July 22nd in Hamburg, Germany.
That's true.
Yeah. How you feeling?
I'm good. I moved my camp over here as soon as I got the call, and yeah, so I've been here, you know, working my ass off with the Extreme Couture guys and getting beat, and now the third week in, now I'm starting to feel good again. So now I'm starting to put pressure. Now I'm starting to get my game together, and it will be good.
Well, what I'm about to tell you, we've obviously spoke before through text.
Yeah.
And it was after your Usman fight. You know, a lot of fighters, when they fight, you can obviously win or you can lose. And then you can have a statement win where you have this trajectory towards a title. And you can have a win where just, it's a win, you know, and that's it. And then as far as losses, there's, what the hell? As far as losses, that's a lot of Starbucks over there. As far as losses go, you can have a devastating loss that knocks you down, and then you can have a quality. I thought you had a quality loss because I think a lot of people felt because Usman's a legit fighter that he was going to run right through you. Man, you gave him hell. You fought, and you showed some really, really good qualities. It was really good to see that. I don't believe your stock dropped much at all.
No, I don't think it did either. But for me as a fighter, you can never be satisfied with a loss.
Yeah.
Because you can imagine, like, as I got the call and I got the fight booked, I picture myself beating Usman for 3 months. I picture myself beating him. I picture myself in the number 11 contender spot, which he was at the time. And that's what I pictured every single day. And then suddenly, the fight's over. The last minute went out of the round, of the third round. And you stand there and you lost. And you're like, oh, shit, I fucking wasted all this. And that sucks. But as you say, like, if you have to look at something positive from it, it's definitely that I didn't get knocked out, I didn't get submitted, I didn't get my head crushed in or whatever, and he definitely didn't want to have anything part of my game. And of course, Usman is a really good fighter, but I believe that with the same preparation, I could beat him that day, like, more times than I lost. And this time he was the better man at that single particular place and time. And I think that's what makes the UFC and MMA the hardest sport in the world, because you have one shot at it. Most likely you won't get another shot at the same guy. You know, it's not like in football or in soccer where it's like, oh, damn it, we lost this time, but the next time we play on the home field, now we're gonna get it.
Right.
You know? You got one single shot, you got 15 minutes, and you put like 1,000 hours in. Or 25. Yeah.
I was just about to ask you that question, because if you go back to the UFC maybe 5-6 years ago, you always felt like you would maybe see that fighter again because the rosters just weren't so deep. Now, and especially in your division, it's very deep.
Yeah.
Do you feel like maybe you won't see Usman ever again?
Most likely I won't. I will, of course, work my ass off to get it again. He's a guy that of course he does well and he's highly ranked now, but there's also someone who I didn't feel I performed my best against. So if I have the chance and if I work my way up again, then of course I'll try to get him fighting again. But like, most likely I will not. Most likely.
How soon after the match were you able to turn the page and start working on what's in front of you now?
That's a funny question, because because like the next day you're like, oh shit, I need to go back to training. I need to reschedule a fight. I need to like do a quick turnaround. And then like 2 weeks in, you starting to get, or 1 week, 2 weeks in, you're starting to get really tired from all the training and the practices and the pressure you've been under and all that stuff. And then you got like a big dump where you got to start digging your way out of again. So about like 2 weeks after, I guess I was in the dump, and then 4 weeks after I was ready to go again.
Do any of those emotions catch you by surprise, or have you kind of gotten into like a system after your fights where you know what's coming, what's not?
Yeah, it's kind of you know what's coming, but as it hits you, it's always hard to apprehend it, because it's like with everything, like especially after fights, there's like either it's big like chaos of media and people who wants to get reach you and all that stuff, or you lose and then nobody gives a shit. And that's why you texted me after the fight, and I was really appreciative of it, because people who text me when you lose, that's the people I know who's gonna be there.
See, I've been saying this for a while,
yeah.
But this is my strategy, okay?
Yeah.
Whenever a fighter loses,
yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of people who come before us too, right? Friends, family. Yeah. So you're probably getting blown up. And so I look at it as, I'm going to wait maybe 2 or 3 weeks for that to die down and then pop up.
Yeah,
and go,
hey,
how you feeling, champ? Because I don't want to get lost in the shuffle. And I also don't, if you just turn the page, and then you get the Goze text that says, hey, man, I don't want to take you right back to that spot because I don't know where you're at. So I tend to wait like 2 or 3 weeks, but now I wish I would have done what George did.
No, but 2 or 3 weeks is, because I spent, I think, 3 weeks before I managed to respond him. Mm-hmm. So, but 2 or 3 weeks is perfect timing.
Emil and I kind of have beef.
Settle down.
He doesn't know it.
Oh, yeah?
What is the deal with Norwegian tic-tac-toe?
I don't know.
Look at the way he won his game. Serpent style.
Yeah, it's 3 in a row. Yeah,
it's 3 in a something.
That's not 3 in a row.
I mean, quite.
That's the snake effect.
I tried.
That's how they do it.
I tried my best.
Yeah. All right. Do you ever watch the Rocky movies? I'm sure you have, right?
Hey, I tried. She hasn't watched it yet. My girlfriend is sitting over there. She hasn't watched it yet.
Okay.
And I tried this. I think it was Sunday or Saturday. I tried like, hey, now it's Rocky time. Like, we have to see this. And then I put it on. I think we ended up like watching an hour, and we just had to like. She wasn't in it at all.
No.
No.
You started with Rocky 1.
Yeah.
You didn't like Rocky 1?
I know.
What's that?
It was a bad day. Yeah. I'm gonna give her another shot.
Well, I'm just gonna reference one scene, but there is a scene in Rocky 2 when his wife just tells him win.
Yeah.
I don't want to set up the rest because it'll spoil it.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden the music plays, dun dun dun, and he starts really training hard.
Yeah.
You know. You mentioned something about being like in the dumps for about 2 weeks. What was your moment where you finally said, "All right, that's it," you know, and like your music started playing, and you just started training and getting back into it, you know?
It's kind of funny because I'm one of those who's I'm not proud of it, but that's the way I am, I guess. Because I'm really serious, like really nothing like this. You know, everything is structured, bound to the fine line, and every session is planned. You know, the duration, intensity, the techniques you're gonna do, and all that stuff is everything is super strict. The food I'm eating or whatever. But when I'm off, or when I like got down in the dump, then I'm like, okay, I need to party, I need to eat shit, I need to sleep. I don't have to train. I don't have to do anything of that. And then, like, you do that for a little time, and then you feel like, oh shit, I should get back. And then you do a little more, and then you really feel. And then you really feel when you wake up. Like we had a concert, and I got drunk, and then that was like I don't know. We had this Constitution Day in Norway. That's a big party for all the people are going out.
Is that like is that like our 4th of July?
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly like it. And you know, and then I had a big downfall, and then we played a concert, and then we had another big downfall, and that's the day I was just like starting to order my tickets home again to Oslo. I was in another town to just I had to get out there. I had to go home. Like I was drunk and just trying to order my way back home.
What concert were you at?
My concert, my own concert. We played.
Oh, I see. Okay.
We have a Norwegian rock band.
Right.
Yeah, it's fun.
Okay.
But
I would think that keeps you in a happy place. But
yeah, it was happy, and then you go out, and then you wake up the day after, or you wake up like. You have those sober moments, you know?
Gotcha.
You got oh shit! After the concert or during the concert?
Both.
Both?
Yes, to both.
That's awesome. Well, be honest, are you a good drunk?
Huh?
Are you a good drunk?
I think I am. I'm happy.
Let's ask who it really matters. Is he a good drunk?
Yeah. Is he a jerk or is he cool when he's
cool.
drunk? Like, is he bumping into people like, what's your problem and all that? He's just happy?
Happy drunk.
I'm stupid.
Yeah,
I go like,
All right. Emil Meek joining us here in studio. He's facing Bartosz Fabinski at UFC Fight Night 134 in Hamburg, Germany. When do you leave? Are you going to go a little bit early just because at least it's in Europe where you're from? Or like Tuesday is travel day? Is that what you'll do? Like what other fighters do?
We'll, like it's a 9-hour time difference over there. So it's kind of annoying to be out here training and then go home again because now I just get rid of the jet lag and everything is working fine. Now we have to go back and do the whole thing again.
Yeah.
But we count 1 day for each hour we lose. So I go home 9 days before. I had to go home to Norway first just to, pack off my shit and grab my new stuff. And then we go over to Hamburg. It's like 2-hour flight or something on the Tuesday, like you said. A Wednesday before the
Your fight's on a Sunday, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's not on a Saturday. It's July 22nd. The fights on that fight card, I know I was looking at it. Teixeira is fighting Ilir Latifi.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, and then we have Shogun also fighting. So Alan Joban's also on the card. I'll go through it in just a second, but we got to take a break. Let's take this last break before the end of the first commercial. You're listening to MMA Junkie Radio on Sirius XM Rush 93. Stay close. We'll be right back.
And the way the sunlight plays upon her head.
Black tea?
Sure.
Thank you.
They were kicked off the set of The Fast and the Furious for being too loud and too good looking. Once again, here's Gorgeous George and Goze.
All right, we're back here on MMA Junkie Radio.
Did you really get kicked out of the Fast and Furious?
Yeah, we were too good looking. We were making everybody uncomfortable. Vin Diesel, who was shaking in his boots. He didn't know what to do with us. We have not too much time left here with Emil because you have to take off. Can we talk about what you're doing after the show?
Yeah, going to the PI and train more wrestling.
This has now become just part of your training camps, right? You're used to the PI and the influence it has. It kind of complements what you have going at Extreme Couture, right?
Yeah. What we actually do is we go to Extreme for some of the team practices, and then the guys who I need to work with, depending on the opponent I'm getting, I try to get more time with, and maybe take him to the PI and stuff like that. So that's really good. It's a really open environment there, and it was fun when we got back because we were the first time in December. It was fun when we got back. Like everybody was, like it feels like home then because it's so open and everybody's welcoming. And yeah.
Vegas is weird like that. At first, it's kind of standoffish a little bit, and then you just kind of get the flow of it. And once you get the flow of it, you really start to like it. Because we're not originally from here.
No.
But I'm gonna put you a little bit on the spot, all right? When you walk into Extreme Couture, who's the one face that you hope is there because you just get along with them well? It's a good training partner. And then who's the one face? Not that you dislike, but you know, man, today's going to be a tough day because this guy always brings it.
This, like, is always different from what was. It's always different from each time you're here. This time, I'm really happy if I see a guy, what's it called? Montel Williams.
Oh, yeah.
You know him?
A lot of people
Montel's great. Yeah.
He's such a great guy, and he's but he also brings hell to training.
Yeah.
So it's you get happy to see him, and then you know you're gonna get good rounds, but you know it's gonna be hard rounds. And then who I don't want to see, I don't know. I know this guy was Abu Akbar.
Oh, I've been hearing about him. Okay.
He's fighting in the PFL this next week. Since the first day I got in there, he was just calling me like, "Hey, Emil, round 1." I'm like, "Yep, round 1." And then like every single day, I'm in there. And he's the solid wrestler. It was his cousin of Khabib, I guess. And then so he think he got some wrestler genes in him.
If you ever want to like think about it a little bit more, this is an American trick. What we do when he goes, "Hey Emil, round 1, you just do this. Go." Who, me? That gives you like 5 seconds to kind of think it over and just make sure. And that's when you come with your comeback, like, "You got it, champ," or today the knee a little bit, something. Yeah, it buys.
But then you have to. No, you can't do that.
I can vouch for the Montel Williams. He's probably the person that. First of all, Montel's I think his social media is happy signs guy. He makes everybody happy. As soon as you see him, he's a great guy, and we used to call him Man-Child because when he was like 17 or 18, he came in the gym, was just messing up adults, and he looked like an adult, but he was like barely out of high school. So that's cool. You gave him a shout, Emil. That's awesome.
He's awesome, and I'm gonna work a lot with him this camp for this fight.
Yeah, he's really skilled too. Yeah.
When you are done with, I want to go back to the dump. After the fight, what's the one meal that like, okay, now I want to eat this? What's the one thing that you hold back, whether it's calorie intake or a treat that you want to just save for after the fight?
Yeah, it's kind of like a snowball, keep rolling. In the beginning, and like after the fight, you're not hungry, you got adrenaline, you don't feel like really like eating because you've been eating so much after the weigh-ins. And it's kind of when you're stuffed, you're never hungry. Like, of course, if you're stuffed, you're not hungry. It's easy. But like the 3 days out of the fight, you're starting like, oh, maybe I could have a slice of pizza, and then you have a slice of pizza, and like, oh, I can have another one, and then you end up eating a whole pizza. And then after the pizza, you're like, oh, well, now I started, so I could just manage to finish off maybe like a Ben & Jerry's or some ice cream. And then you do that, and then you're like, okay, then you're really, really, really full and sick, and you almost want to throw up. And then like you feel like, oh, maybe I got some little more room up in here. And then like, well, I can just go down to the 7-Eleven down across the street and get something else. And then so I guess like it just keeps rolling, and then you're sick and like, okay, that was it, now I'm done. And then you wake up the next day and you're like, oh, I'm craving pizza again. It's really good. And then pizza and ice cream, I think it's the two most, that's the thing I really want.
Is junk food in Norway good like junk food in the United States?
It's very different. We got McDonald's and Burger King.
Yeah.
But it's not as popular there as it is here, I guess. And we have like almost none of the big chains. You like Popeyes, the KFC, we like all that stuff we don't really have.
What about Chipotle? You have that?
No, nothing.
No Chipotle.
Do you like it?
Do you have Mexican food out there?
We have better restaurants with Mexican food. That's really good. But we don't have any fast food ones. And we get into starting like implying Domino's, and we get all that stuff. But it's really expensive. That's the thing. That the junk food in Norway isn't cheap.
Give me an idea. How much is McDonald's? Just a Big Mac, fries, and a Coke.
Big Mac is about $15.
Come on, man.
Yeah, I know. $15.
The combo or just
that was a combo, like a full menu.
Well, still.
$15.
That's even more than like airport, right?
Yeah, way more.
What's the deal, man?
It's just
they just don't want you to eat junk food, I guess, right?
I don't know. I think it's just
is healthy food expensive too?
It's more expensive.
Healthy food. We're hearing from the girlfriend. Okay. All right. Did you hear all that?
Taxes play a role in why the price is so high as well.
I thought it'd be maybe genius if what they're trying to do is make that expensive to get you off of it, and the healthy restaurants you get more of a break. But so there's something to that.
Technically, they do that here in the States, and it doesn't work.
No, over here is the dollar menu and shit like that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but I mean, you can eat healthy for a lot cheaper than people think. We just choose to eat junk food because the pace of the life is so fast, you know.
That's true. They got like great places here in Vegas where you find like the Greens and Proteins, Protein Source, and Protein House. Like there's 3 like places we could just go all around.
Skinny Fats.
Yeah, Skinny Fats too. Yeah. That's just next to Extreme.
That was my nickname when I was a kid because sometimes I was skinny, sometimes I was fat.
Hey, how's the Norwegian summer, by the way?
This time we've been
long days, right?
Yeah. Like it never gets dark. It's light all like
even 2 a.m.
Yeah, 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m. The further north you get, the more light it is.
Right.
So it's like you really get like the what's it called when the sleep pattern gets messed up in the summer.
Insomnia.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like you don't have to have it.
So what's the opposite for winter then? Do you have does the sun go down at 2 p.m. or really?
Yep. So the winter is really depressive. Like in this is not a joke, but it's in far north. It's called Tromsø. It's a city. They have a bridge, which they actually close off in the winter because there's so many people committing suicide.
Oh wow!
In the winter, that's because you get no sun, you got no D vitamins, you just get depressed, and it's kind of weird because when you're in it, you don't really feel it, but as you get out of it, you're like, oh shit, this is how like life is, and you can see like this is Norwegian. If the sun comes up, like for the first time in a long time, like the whole street just stops and just like stands there, like closing their eyes, like, this is how sun feels like.
Like here in Vegas today, right? At about 3 p.m. Are you gonna do that? Soak it up.
No.
Before I leave for Hamburg. Give me the sun. Give me the sun.
Is this your skin color in the winter?
Yeah, it's about so.
Yeah, and then this is your summer tan.
Yeah, now I'm getting like I'm not tan, but I'm way tanner than I'm used to be.
Wow. All right. So you got Fabinski ahead of you.
Yeah.
And are you one of those guys that likes to visualize? Do you have a prediction for how that fight's going to go and how it's going to end?
Yeah. I like to like watch the tapes like pretty solid, like 1 or 2 times or a few times in a day or a week, and then I really just like go with whatever guts I got for the rest of it, and I visualize the thing he's doing. So yeah, we're working on like what his strength is and make defense out of that, and then we also work on what I'm good at, like offensive wise.
But most of your visualizations and dreams usually are with the knockout, right?
Yeah. Always.
Even the wrestlers.
Yeah.
You ask the wrestler, they don't really say, "Well, I'm gonna take him down." Like they usually say the knockout. You know, what if it hits the ground? Then they go, "Well, I'll wrestle him." But 95% of the fighters are just visually in the KO.
I always visualize that too, and I feel like my work capacity is really high. So I managed to put a good pace on him, and if he tries to take me down, he's a wrestler. He's gonna try and take me down. That's why I work with all the wrestlers up in here. And I think he's gonna get tired and sluggish. That's what happened in his last fights, and he hasn't fought like in a lot of years now. So I think he's in for a hard, rude awakening when he's get back.
Thank you very much for coming by. I know you have your practice at UFC PI, but we really appreciate you coming by, making some time for us. Safe travels to Hamburg.
Thank you.
And hopefully next time you're in Vegas, we can do the 2-hour co-host.
Yeah, that'd be great. All
right, that's Emil Meek, folks. You can follow him on Twitter at Emil Valhalla. Sorry. There you go. All right, folks. That was TJ Dillashaw earlier, and then we have Emil Meek, and then we're also going to talk to T. Edwards. So stick around for the second hour of the MMA Junkie Radio Show.
Fever, Las Vegas turning day into night.
Love this song, man. It's awesome. Yeah. This is Jim Miller's song, right?
Do you think Do you think songs like that should never be touched by another fighter?
I think there should be a passing of the torch.
I think so too.
Because Sandstorm's too great. I mean, the sport's 25 years old, but one day it's going to be 100 years old, and for someone to never use that, like, that would be a shame. So, kind of like how Ronda, told Roddy Piper, can I use your nickname? And he said sure, and his career was done. Maybe something like that, but
I always wish the BJ maybe did that for Max or something,
Yeah, could be, man. You never know.
I'm with you guys, by the way.
I've seen him. I've been with him at one of the, and I've seen when that music comes on, what it does for a Hawaiian. It's just sad that it goes away.
You should have seen the tear that came down my face when South Korea scored and Mexico moved on. I was sitting in the parking lot, and I was like, thank God. All right, guys. So thank you to TJ Dillashaw for his time. Thank you to Emil Meek for his time. And we will catch up with T. Edwards in about 30 minutes. But right now we have a surprise guest. He has something he would like to share with us. His name is Johny Hendricks. Hello, Johnny.
What's up?
Not much, sir. How are you doing?
Doing all right. Can't complain.
All right.
Made some decisions in my life, and I think I'm happy with them.
Johny Hendricks, a 4-time state champion in high school, a 4-time All-American in NC2A Division I Wrestling, a 3-time finalist in NC2A Division I Wrestling, a 2-time winner in NC2A Division I, and a world champion in the Ultimate Fighting Championship in the welterweight division. He has an announcement he'd like to share with us. The stage is yours, Johnny.
Yep. Hey, thank you very much. Yeah, I'm done. I'm retiring. I am getting out of the MMA world.
Wow.
I am going to, I've been thinking about this long and hard for a while, and I'm gonna get back to my roots, and I'm gonna start coaching at All Saints. I coached a little bit of high school last year at Oak Ridge, but I'm making the move over to All Saints. I'm gonna start coaching there, start doing those kind of things, and like I was telling you earlier, is one of the things that's nice is that these last 7 months is being home, spending time with the kids, not worrying about myself, what I need to do. I was walking around at 200 for 3 weeks. I was just looking at my wife. I go, do we really want to do this? I know that I'm the one that has to do it, but do we want to do this? Do we want to go through the grind that I used to do? Be gone for long periods of time, put my family second, and do those kind of things. And right now, I can't say that. And so that's sort of whenever I've made this decision about 2 weeks ago, but I prayed about it, and I was wanting to make sure I was going to be okay with it.
Right. Well, how does it feel good to say it publicly? I mean, even though you and your wife have talked about it, and even though you and I chatted about 15 minutes ago, you are now putting it out there, and this is, big news. But do you feel a relief? Do you feel joy, happiness, content?
You know what? Yes, I feel like a big part of. I have a big relief now. You know what I mean? Because I like we talked. I've competed since I was 5 years old. I've been a competitor. I've been cutting weight. I've been doing hard training since I was 13 years old. Maybe sooner than that, but let's just put high school in there. So since I was 14 years old, so for 20 years of my life, I've been at the grind of mental, physical, trying to keep yourself in the tip-top shape. And you know what? And what I'm doing right now is I'm literally I'm training some of the guys at my gym, and I look at them and I go, you know what? I'm gonna miss the sparring and stuff like that. But since I'm training guys, I spar with them twice a week, or twice a month. So I still get sparring. I still get to work hands. I still get to do things that I enjoy. It's like the best of both worlds for me.
Right. Well, I'll tell you what, Johnny. When you said it, of course, my jaw dropped, and I said, what? Because I knew that you wanted to have another run at 170. But you know what, bro? It only took me like 30 seconds to go, why, though? I mean, of course, why in the sense that you're going to want to become world champion. You've had a taste of that. You've always been a competitor that's competed at the highest levels and succeeded at the highest levels. And I thought, and then I started thinking about everything I just rattled off as we brought you on. You know, the successes you've had. Like, you did it. You won already. You know what I mean? You won at the game of athletics in 2 different sports. I mean, that's impressive to be an NCAA champion, not just once but twice, and to also do it in mixed martial arts. Simply brilliant.
You know, and that's the thing, is that I've been blessed. You know, I have. And I've been blessed with people surrounding me to help me get there, you know, and still today I still feel blessed. And, you know, now that and that's one thing that and that's sort of what sort of took me back, is I go, what have I done in my life to be satisfied from where I'm at right now? What have I done? You know, and I started, and that's sort of what happened in wrestling. As soon as I started doing that, I knew it was time for me to find something else. You know, and I guess this was like a month ago. I was with them. I was talking to her, my wife, and I go, you know, I've been very blessed to be able to accomplish everything that I've ever wanted to do. I don't know why, but I've been able to do anything that I put my mind to. I have done it. You know, and I remember getting on this show. What was it? 9 years ago, and saying I'm going to be the UFC champ. Right?
Yeah. And then you brought the belt back. Remember when you brought the belt back?
Yeah, yeah, and that's what
awesome.
I'm saying. Like 9 years ago, you're sitting here, you know, everybody's probably like, who is this joker saying that he's going to do this? You know? And you know, and right now, I know what I have to do to get back to where I want to be. And you know what? I got the taste of the family life. I've got the taste of the normal life. And right now, oh man, I am completely satisfied with everything that's going on. You know, and that's why I wanted to send it through you first and the MMA junkie world, is that y'all been there through the very beginning. And that's why I wanted to make sure that I gave you guys the first one, and probably the only interview, I don't know, of my retirement.
Well, thank you, man, for sharing that with us on our show. It means a lot, and we're happy for you, my man. Let me, I've been hogging the stage here. Goze has something he wants to say as well.
Well, I just want to pile onto that. I mean, we have been part of this journey since the very beginning, and we've seen what you've gone through, ups and downs, and we're very proud of everything you've been able to do. And I wanted to ask you, I know there's been a lot of people that have been a part of your process, your journey, but the actual decision of coming to retirement, how many people were involved in that decision?
It was only me and my wife, you know, because the way that I look at it is that we're going to have to do the biggest sacrifice. You know, we would have to do the biggest sacrifices. And my wife was, you know, the way that she said it best. You know, let's say in 5 months from now, she's like, hey, are you still happy? I can still get in there because I'm still working out. I'm still doing those things, right? But whenever I told her, I go, whenever I do retirement, I'm done. There's no coming back like a lot of other people do. You know, I go, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to stay away. And, you know, I was talking to a fan, this is Saturday, and no, it was Sunday. And whenever I was talking to him, it just put it in perspective of what I accomplished and everything that I wanted to do. Meaning not only being hitting where I hit, but also what he said. And he was just like, you know what? I've met many people, famous people, and you are the nicest one I've met so far. And still today, that's what I try to achieve. And I think that means more to me than the belt and everything I've accomplished.
I love that, man. And Johnny, we've seen you coach before. Well, you help out teammates a lot and show them stuff. I know you're working on the high school wrestling coaching, but should the opportunity arise where, people are very frank with you. They always ask you for advice, especially when it comes to fighting. But if somebody were to ask you to help them train to be the next you, would you take on a challenge like that?
You know what? I have. I got 4 guys that I'm working with right now.
Wow.
They do MMA. They do MMA at my gym, and they said they want to be the best fighter they can possibly be. And so, I get to show them what successes I had and what successes I didn't have. What failed and what didn't. And so what I do is I can sit there and say, hey, look, this didn't work for me. I'm going to show it to you anyways. Let your body decide that. Does that make sense? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to counter that. And that's the way that I'm working with these guys out of my gym is whenever I'm doing these things, I'll go, okay, I just showed you this. Now I'm going to counter it. What are you going to do? And whenever I start playing that way, they go, man, that, I get it. I understand what you're trying to say. Why I shouldn't be doing this. I should be trying to do this.
Johnny, this decision that you came to, could there have been a last-ditch effort, a possible matchup that you've always wanted to get back, a situation that would have made you reconsider?
You know what? Even if you threw George St. Pierre at me, man, you know what? The world knows. Yeah, realistically, I'm satisfied. There's nobody that they could throw at me to say, unless they said, Johnny, all right, here's a $1 million payday, come and fight this dude. You can't turn that down. That'd be stupid, But if I sit there and I think about it logically, everything that I've done and everything that I want to continue to do is everything I accomplished, I did. Everything I set my mind to, I achieved it. And that's the gist of what I'm feeling at this moment, what I've been feeling for the last month. Is there's nothing out there. Like I said, the only way is that they said, hey, here you go. We know there's going to be a big paper day for you. Now that's a totally different scenario, right? But if you're talking about just saying, hey, here's a guy for you to fight, there's nobody. Like I said, I've done, and I'm just happy that I didn't do it too early or too late. I feel like right now is the best time to do it. I've had some great fights. I've fought some great fighters, and I'm very happy with my decision.
Johnny, give me 3 moments that stand out in your career. If you want to list 1 through 3, great. If they all just stick out for different reasons, share them that way.
Yeah. All right. So one of my first ones that I would say was my very first fight. Not a lot of people know this, but Big John, he was our ref for my very first fight.
Against Victor Ratcliffe at Battle of the Cage 16?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And he actually told me after that fight, I go, do you think I have what it takes to be a UFC champ? And he looked at me right in the face and said, I believe you will get that belt.
Damn. That's some foresight there.
Yeah, look at Big John.
And that's what I said. I go, dude, that's incredible. And you were right. That's something that stands out. And then, one of the things that stands out that, it's one of my biggest moments of my career to sort of shoot me where I want to be was, of course, the John Fitch fight. Y'all knew who I was, but that's whenever the rest of the world figured out who I was.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? and then then of course I got to go with the GSP fight. I think, and you know what, even the Robbie fight. I mean, if I was going to say one, I would say the Robbie fights were some of my favorites. Carlos Condit, I love that fight. I mean, I'm sitting here thinking through my head, even the Josh Koscheck fight. I mean, I fought some really tough dudes. And, you know, whenever you start to think back, you just smile and go, yeah, that's something I was able to do. You know, how many people are able to crack the top 10? How many people are able to crack the top 5? And you just take a step back and, man, I'm happy. I'm happy. That's all I can say. That's the easiest way I can explain it, is that I'm happy.
Do you still have a relationship with anyone from Team Takedown or even your former coach, Mark Lehman?
You know what? I don't. Yeah, they don't. They haven't called me. I try to reach out to every one of them and just be like, "Hey, it's not hard feeling, you know." But no, I have not. Still today, still nothing.
That's from the Takedown side. What about Mark Lehman?
No, I tried to call him and I talked to him for a minute, and it was that's all that I got, you know. And that's what sort of sucks, is that, you know, I spent 7 years, 8 years with those, you know, with those people.
Yeah.
And, you know, and that's one thing that, you know, I can always look back and go, was I true to myself and was I true to other people? You know, and that's really, again, it goes back to whenever I was raised, my dad always said, you know, how do you want people, treat people the way you want to get treated? And respect other people and move forward. No matter what happens, always move forward. And that's really what I've been trying to do.
One last thing here. John Smith, I know early on he wasn't the biggest MMA fan or even, you know, that crazy about any of his wrestlers that had the ability to go international to stop those dreams and then to do MMA. But now that you've won a belt, DC's won a belt, has he come around at least to become a fan, or whether it's just a fan of you two or the other Cowboys or MMA in general? I've always been curious.
You know what? He has. He opened up a lot. You know, I think I hurt him a little bit whenever I went into MMA, because he sort of bred me to be a coach. And also, I think he has bred me to be, like, mentally, physically, to be a world champion in the Olympics. And whenever I walked away, it hurt him. You know, because he was like a father figure to me, you know. And I get that, and I see that. I did whenever I told him, hey, I'm going to MMA, not wrestling. I knew it was tough. But now I talked to him, and I told him that I'm starting to coach wrestling. I didn't tell him I was retiring or anything, but I told him that, you know, I'm going to get back into wrestling. And whenever I told him that, he was very happy that I'm starting to get back into that sport.
Johnny, one last thing. You'll be asking the UFC to fill out retirement papers. You'll ask USADA that you want to drop out of the pool. This is that type of final. And I ask only because there's some fighters who I think, like Faber, I think still gets tested, and Ronda was still getting tested, although she's going in the Hall of Fame. I don't know if she's still doing it. But is it that type of closure that you plan on going forth, or is there a honeymoon stage where you still sit by the phone and maybe wait for that $1 million call?
No, I'll call the UFC and tell them, hey, I'm done. I'll call USADA and tell them I'm done. You know, that is like I said, it's never a honeymoon phase with me. Whenever I put my mind to something, and now, just to tell you what I want to accomplish, my goal is to get wrestlers into national champions, right? I want to get wrestlers to be better than I was at wrestling, better than I could ever be, and that's what I want to do, and that's what I'm putting my mind to and setting my goals to. And for me to do that, I have to put the past in the past and start moving forward, just like I did with the wrestling. I put that in the past. I only coached people who wanted, that were in the MMA world, that wanted to learn some wrestling. I taught them, but for the most part, I was past the wrestling, and that's sort of what I'm doing now. Is I'm past the fighting, I'm past all that other stuff, and right now I'm just looking at how can I get some of these kids. We just sent one to Oklahoma State, and everybody loves him. And we just got another one to go to Northern Colorado. If I could put my dedication and my focus 100% into these kids, what could they achieve? And that's where my mindset is now. It's not about me. It's about what I can do for others, and the others are who want to learn how to fight, who want to learn how to wrestle. That's what I want to give them.
Very cool. All right.
Johnny, this is a situation that not a lot of people go through in life. When you even reached out to George, as you were waiting on hold, you've been on hold on our show plenty of times, but were there any nerves this last time waiting for us to bring you on? Because not a lot of people know how they're going to react to stuff like this. What was that like?
You know what? There was nothing there. Like I said, I'm content. I'm happy. I can look back, and the reason why some people are nervous, and this is the only thing I can come up with, they never achieved what they wanted to achieve. There's still something on their checklist that they couldn't get to. I think that's what hurts people whenever they try to talk about retirement, is that they look at it and go, man, I did 9 out of 10. This sucks. I would love to be able to get that 10th thing, but it is not happening. And I don't know how to achieve it. And they start hitting that mindset of, what, maybe it's time for me to retire because I can't get there. And so whenever they say retirement, they know that 10th thing is still sitting there. Where me, I was able to achieve everything I've wanted to. I've been able to do everything I've wanted to do. And I can take a step back and go, I succeeded. That doesn't happen too often. And you got to take your wins when you can. So for me, whenever we were on hold, it was just like it was realistically like another conversation with you guys. No nerves, no nothing. Just happy now that the world knows that I'm done. You know what I mean? Just not me and my wife.
Yeah. All right, Johnny. Well, hey, it's been an awesome career, and with you still being involved in combat sports on both fronts, we hope to obviously keep in touch. You obviously know that if you're in Vegas, we'd love to have you back in studio for maybe one final, one more trip down memory lane, or as many. I mean, that's an open invite anytime you come down. Do me a favor, though, man. Sometime today, splurge a little. Go back and get that Baconator, Take a pic and send it to us. Now you can let go.
You know what? You know what? That's the thing, is that I'm walking around, like, I was at 200. Right now I'm walking around at, like, 205. I'm working outside. I'm doing things. I don't want to get too big. Whenever I knew I had to cut weight again.
Yeah.
That's why I always ate too much. But now that I know that I'm never going to cut weight again. I'm never going to do this or this. I might lose more weight, because there for a while I was walking around at 95.
Yeah.
because I was just like, you know what? I don't have to sweat about. I don't have to sweat about food. I don't have to sweat about. And in 3 months, am I going to have to suck down to 3% body fat? You know?
Yeah.
I literally just get to sit here and go, it's another day. You know, I've been doing a lot of that.
All right, my man. Well, hey, thank you for sharing that with us. It's been an incredible journey, and enjoy retirement. And please keep in touch with us. And again, if you're in Vegas, let us know. Hang out. We'll do the show. We gotta go get some money at the Luxor. Remember, they took a little bit of blackjack money from us. We got to go back and get that.
Oh, yes. Yes, they did.
Charge a little interest too.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm just happy that you guys have been through so much with me, and it has been an honor. I really will say that. I'm grateful for everything that y'all have done for me, and that's the only thing that's going to suck is not getting to be able to talk to you guys once every 3 months or twice every 3 months. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's the only downfall, because I know that everybody that is listening right now, they have been part of this for I know there's 50, 60,000 that have been with the very beginning, whenever y'all started off, you know, and now that y'all have grown so big, that there's some people there that have been with me for 2 or 3 years. So it's nice to see you guys succeed too. I'm happy.
Thank you. But today's all about you, my man. Take care, Johnny, and we will make it a point to talk to you at one way or another. We got to do wrestling previews or get your thoughts on big welterweight fights coming up, anything like that. So you'll be hearing from us.
Hey, that sounds like a plan to me.
All right. Take care. Enjoy your day.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, folks. That is Johny Hendricks, former UFC welterweight champ, former NC2A national champion, two-time. Calls it a career.
Usually somber news, but the way he said it and the mood that he was in led me to believe that it truly was the right decision. And if that's the case, then more power to him. It should be something that's being celebrated.
I agree. All right. We got to take a break. We are going to be talking to last night's winner of one of 5 winners of the Dana White Contender Series, episode 11, season 2, episode 3, if you want to look at it that way. He was one of 5 winners, and he was one of 2 UFC contract winners. His name's T. Edwards. He's out of the MMA lab down in Arizona, and he'll join us when we come back on the MMA Junkie Radio Show.
King Kong has a lot of shit on them. Like a lot, especially Goze. Here are Gorgeous George and Goze.
Available right now on demand, it's a SiriusXM NFL radio town hall with Super Bowl 52 most valuable player, Philadelphia Eagles quarterback Nick Foles. Join Jim Miller for an in-depth look at Nick's improbable journey from backup quarterback to Super Bowl champion. On demand right now on the SiriusXM app. That was incredible the way he stepped in for Carson Wentz and still guided them against the mighty New England Patriots, against Bill Belichick and Mike Patricia, who if you give them 2 weeks, they'll shut you down. But remember all the ballsy calls goes by their coach, Doug Peterson, going for it on 4th and down, like on their own 30, and he pulled it off. I mean, you got to punch them in the nose, otherwise New England will just find a way. And how about a shout-out to Joey from West Covina?
Yes.
Joey M. from West Covina charging to the studio with some tea. Even though we haven't been able to catch up with T. Edwards, we got tons of tea over here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really good.
Venti's. Is this the bigger one than the Venti? The Trenta? Oh, okay. I was like, dude, this is heavy.
Hooked it up.
Did you know they had these Trentas?
I heard that a long time ago. I haven't taken advantage of it. I stopped at Venti's, I guess.
Hey, was that the song from Ferris Bueller's Day Off? Shake It Up, Baby. Speaking of which, you guys were at the Contender Series since we're kind of on or getting beyond that subject. Do you guys think Julian Arosa looks like Cameron from Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
You tweeted that. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, that was a pretty good one.
He looks like it's like a shredded up.
I can see it. There's another kid. Let me see if I can.
Danny, I saw the thing light up. That wasn't him?
Always lights up when I'm calling, and nothing, no answer.
Okay, all right. We'll see if I hear back from him. Speaking of Julian Arosa, Dan, Tom, Dana gave us a little bit of a tease because that was the first name that came out of his mouth.
Yeah.
And everybody was very happy, you know, especially the Extreme Couture teammates that were there. But it turns out he's on their radar. By the way, Brazil 1, Serbia 0. Brazil just scored about 30 seconds ago. And so I don't know if that was mean or if he doesn't. I don't think he intends to do that, but I think they thought for 30 seconds that they were in Julian Arosa, but it turns out he's just basically on their radar. If someone falls out, he gets the first call, which is almost like being in, but you just don't get to enjoy that particular moment.
Right.
Now, to be fair, and I've already said this to his coach at 10th Planet, Julian Marquez, the Cuban Missile Crisis, who was there, who's also a teammate of Julian Arosa and all the Extreme Couture guys that are there. Emmers. What was his first name?
Jamal
Emmers looked good, man.
Yeah.
Jamal Emmers looked like he was on his way to winning the contract. He's got some skills. I've seen him do well on other regional promotions.
Oh, yeah. Quality wins.
And I thought he was going to make a poster out of Julian Arosa. Arosa, he wasn't, at least according to what I was hearing in the gym, because you can hear everything, it just seemed like he wasn't following the game plan. He was really, really rolling the dice. He had his hands down. He was throwing a lot of hooks. He wasn't coming in with straight punches. And the other cat was just faster and getting them, you know. But Arosa did get the win, but he had to wait out 3 more fights. And not the immediate one after that, the heavyweight that did the spinning back fist, but our guest who's coming up here, T. Edwards, as soon as he laid out that other dude, Austin Tweedy, I believe his name was, I think everyone went, oh, shit, there goes the contract. There goes the one contract if they're only going to do one. But little did we find out that Antonina was also going to get contract number 2. But I thought T. Edwards solidified at least the first one, and that's how it all went down. So joining us now on the hotline is T. Edwards, one of the winners from last night's Dana White Contender Series. What's up, T? How you doing?
Good. How you guys doing, boss?
Good, my man. Thanks for joining us here on the MMA Junkie Radio Show. Congrats on a spectacular, beautiful win last night at the Contender Series.
Oh, thank you very much.
I mean, that's kind of like when somebody asks you, how's it going to go down? You say, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to knock them out in the first round. That's pretty much it right there, right? Is that how you visualized it?
Yeah, in the perfect world, that's how I imagine the ideal scenario going. Of course, there's always like different variables that could have came into play, but I thought if I set it up perfect and did everything the way I planned it, it could have been that quick.
28 seconds, if I'm not mistaken. Either 28 or 38. Which one was it?
28.
28 seconds. Like, I don't even think the corners had yelled anything. We were all just settling into our seats and getting ready because at the Contender Series, there's not this official, like, ref who talks to the fighter. The ref's not really going out of his way to have a token start phrase or anything like that. and it's kind of quiet, and so we're all just kind of looking around, like talking to each other, and then all like, oh wait, they're fighting. So by the time we're running to our seats or just picking our spot, you guys were just kind of doing the dance a little bit. I think Austin threw a quick kick, and then boom, it was over. I was like, wow, like you really stole the show at that point.
Yeah, we thought he was going to come out and kind of bull rush it. He's kind of the aggressive type. But I had a feeling he was going to hesitate. He was going to respect the wrestling too much. He was going to be a little more hesitant because he didn't want to get hit too hard or get taken down. So I figured if I could freeze him up with a couple of level changes and, hard feints, get him to bite on one or two and really, plant his feet, I could catch him. So I faked a level change. He froze, dropped his hands for half a second, and put one over top and caught him pretty clean. So that was all she wrote.
I thought you even tapped him on the chin on the way down with the opposite hand. And even after that, you had this gangster walk-off, too.
Yeah, the hook was ready in case he had a tougher chin than I thought. But no, he went down. He was out before he hit the ground. I kind of saw his eyes roll back, so I wasn't going to do any more damage. Figured I'd have a nice little walk-off and chat with Dana real quick.
He did, man. He had a walk-off. It almost looked rehearsed. Like, hey, you do this, I'll do that. You know what I mean? But, of course, I'm not implying that at all. It was just very, very slick. And T. Edwards, fight number 4, at that point, he had erased. See, I had some in-depth conversations with a lot of people there yesterday, and I said, no matter what, if you're a fighter, you have to treat it as not only do you have to win, I have to get the one contract. You can't assume they're going to give out 4 like last week or 2 like this week or like one time last season when they did 3. You got to assume that it's only going to be 1. And if you've already seen 3 of the fights, he had that advantage that he had seen 3 of the fights. And remember, last night they were all finishes. You took it up an extra level. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we saw a couple fights beforehand. They weren't terribly exciting. They got like that one head kick finish at the end. But, I mean, it wasn't like anything like, oh, jump out of your seat, crazy knockout. So I was like, all right, we can still slide by that. The big guy had that spinning back elbow. It's a little more fancy. I was like, oh, that could be impressive, depending on how, Dana's feeling. And then, like I said, I'm not like a headhunter out there trying to just swing for the fences. It's pretty, set up pretty well and precise. So I figured if I just go out there, move around, throw some, fast, clean shots, I was going to catch him. Regardless of if it was in the first round or third round. So I wasn't too worried about trying to, look for the finish too intentionally.
T. Edwards, our guest here on MMA Junkie Radio. He's coming off a big win at last night's Dana White Contender Series, Episode 11. Almost sounds like he's describing the dunk contest. Mm-hmm. All he saw was guys just dunking. Nobody had reversed or windmilled or alley-oop, so he knew he had some tricks that he could put out there being the number 4 dunker. Goze, what do you have for our guest?
T, unless you've been through the Contender Series or been to a bunch of them, watched them, the dynamic is very different. Just winning isn't enough. And so in your case, believe it or not, it's even scary when you finish a guy very quickly because you don't know if the matchmakers, Dana White, are thinking, well, maybe he just had a really terrible opponent and he just knocked him out. Like sometimes you almost want it to play out a little bit longer just to kind of cement, hey, man, look what, I'm able to take guys down. I'm able to do this. I'm able to do that and get the finish. But I know you can't paint the perfect picture. But was there a part of you yesterday that going into the fight maybe wanted it to play out just a little bit more just to showcase everything you got that way? For sure they know this is our guy.
People ask me that a lot if I want to, drag out the fights more or make it, longer so the fans can see more. And I say it and I'd say it again. Like, I'm just heavy-handed, and I have really good timing. And, the first couple punches I throw, unless I'm, pulling my punches, they're going to have some heat behind them. And if you don't move out of the way, it's a good chance you're going to either fold or you're going to be out of it for a couple seconds. So the only way I can drag it out is if I don't hit people. So, I mean, if we get, further in the league and we got some guys with better chins, or some tougher guys, then I can put more on display, but I'm not going to purposely sell myself short just to make it look better. I'll walk through 4 or 5 guys with some KOs, and then once I get top 10, top 5, and I really have to open up my game a little bit more and show you guys the rest of it, then I'll do that. But why give these guys more film to watch on me and get ready when I can just walk through people with 1 strike? So right now,
T. There's only so many contracts that can go out. And where I'm getting at with this is, did you watch last week's episode, even the first week? Did you feel any pressure with them giving 4 contracts out last week that potentially there could only be 1 this week? Did you feel like that would carry over at all, or did you feel like the episodes were just completely separate?
I'm not totally sure. People were talking about it backstage. They thought he might be a little more stingy with the contract since they gave out 4 last time. I saw a couple of the fights from last week. I wasn't terribly impressed. I think he was just in a good mood giving out contracts. Some of the guys, I don't know if they should have got contracts or if it was more impressive than other guys I had seen or other guys that I know that compete. So I was just going to go out there and do what I do normally. If we got the contract, great. If I didn't, it wasn't going to be the end of the world. I'm pretty confident I was going to get to the UFC at some point either way, whether it was yesterday or whether it was down the road. So either way, I was going to go out there and just perform like I normally do.
Dan Tom, our fight analyst, he's got something for you. What do you have for T. Edwards, Dan?
Hey, T, great job last night, man. I was honestly about to try to play devil's advocate here, and try to talk about the fast finishes. But to be honest, I really enjoyed your take as far as the upsides to it. And furthermore, you already shut it down in the sense of, A, you come from a great camp who I'm sure John Crouch and your training partners have you prepared. But more importantly, something you can't train is confidence. And I'm not talking about anything, being cocky or whatever. Like, your confidence translated into comfort from an outsider perspective, and to me, that's scary. That's a guy that, I definitely would want to avoid if I was on the roster. A guy that can come into a big stage and just be that comfortable. Where does that come from? Because, again, you're getting a lot of these guys out of here in the first round. Where's this comfort and confidence coming from?
I've wrestled my whole life, from middle school up until college, high levels. Nationals, all the work. So I've been competing at a high level for a long time. I've been on many big stages. So this is nothing different to me. I know it looks like I only have a couple fights, and guys are like, oh, he's not experienced or whatnot. But I've got 300 plus competitions under my belt on bigger stages than the Contender Series fight facility. And then of course I have like a great camp at the lab. So I'm getting looks from all these UFC high-level guys already, except for now I just get to, put on a show in front of the fans, in front of the audience, in front of the TV, and I appreciate the lights and the cameras more than I would, like a sparring on like the weekends. Like I feel like I perform better under the lights. It's more exciting. Everything looks better in HD and camera angles. So I think I shine better when there's the lights out in front of me anyway. So I think that gives me an edge also. A lot of guys call them like mat room champions. They're good in the wrestling room, behind the scenes in the dark, but when the lights shine, they kind of freeze up or they get nervous. That doubt seeps in, and I feel like it's the opposite for me, so it kind of gives me a little extra edge there too.
Right on. Well, I'm glad you brought up your wrestling experience, because that was my follow-up from this. Your boy Jakar Close was talking about your experience in D1 wrestling programs, and you just said you've been wrestling since you were a small kid. So let me ask you, was there a certain point along that journey where you knew that, or at least thought, I want to try this MMA stuff or fighting stuff? What was the thought there? What was the turning point?
Actually, I had no intention of fighting after college. After my senior year of wrestling, I kind of had a big disappointment at the national championships. So I was like ranked 9th or 10th in the nation. Came to the tournament off an injury like a week or two before with my MCL, and choked first round and ended up like not placing. So I was kind of upset with the sport and upset with myself and just the letdowns of competition. So I had no plans on fighting. I was working at a sports performance gym, and they had an amateur MMA team there. I started just like, jumping around, rolling with some of the guys, working out with them. Kind of got good. They were like, hey, you should take an amateur fight or something for fun. Gave me some, hot shot local guy, knocked him out in like 30 seconds, and kind of realized it was something I'd be pretty good at. So they were like, hey, you should, make it into a career maybe. So we moved out to Arizona and tried out a few gyms, found a home at the lab, and kind of just been riding with it since.
What made you pick the lab? Was it the coach, the teammates, the vibe of the gym?
All three. Just the environment, the culture there. They had been, Scotty, a lot of the 55ers around my weight were doing really well. It was a real tight-knit family. Everybody seemed to want the best for each other and work together. I tried out few other gyms, it's a lot more independent at some gyms. You know, you have a handful of guys. They have their own coaches, their own practice times. They kind of do their own thing. It's hard to find like a stable schedule when you're not already like solidified in the sport. Like when you don't have money to pay, you know, your own separate coaches and set up your own stuff. It's hard to, you know, make those gains and get better without, you know, having those resources. So at the lab, you know, everybody was always there. Everybody was at practice. Everybody was accountable and reliable. It made it easier for everybody to get better with, you know, as an up-and-comer.
Yeah. We got 1 minute, man, so I got to say this quick. Yesterday, I know John Crouch missed his flight, and I wondered after the fight if he told T. Edwards, man, I could have just stayed home. You know, you handled it in 28 seconds. After going through all that drama, you should have just told me. I would have stayed back in Phoenix. But anyway, I know he wanted to be there.
He went through TSA. That took longer than the actually
It did, man. Hey, T. Edwards, welcome to the UFC, man. Thanks very much for the time here on MMA Junkie Radio. It was a spectacular finish, and we can't wait to see more of you.
All right, thank you guys. I appreciate it.
All right, take care, my man. See you.
All right, bye.
Later. Yep, if you're connecting the dots, if you listened to the show yesterday, I said we might have a surprise guest. It was going to be John Crouch, but he missed his flight, and but it was worth it.
It got canceled.
It got canceled.
Yeah.
You're right. He didn't miss the flight. What am I saying? It got canceled, so he had to take a later flight. But he promises to be here soon, and been getting a lot of also feedback from others that will be coming in here and co-hosting, like Emil Meek did today. Also, I was going to ask one more, but I didn't want to give Danny a heart attack. How many times in the last 24 hours have his friends and family told him, man, you followed that game plan to a T? You think at least one corny dude like me said that to him?
Probably.
Man.
That would have been a good bet.
All right. We'll be right back.
They taught Andy Griffith how to whistle. Here are Gorgeous George and Goze.
All right, let's get to it. Let's finish up a great show here with today's daily debate. Y'all ready?
Let's do it.
Here we go. Question for the day is, we don't know the field yet, but based on Bellator's current roster, which of the following fighters would be the favorite to win the upcoming welterweight Grand Prix if they're added to the tournament? Rory McDonald, Michael Venom Page, Douglas Lima, or Andrei Koreshkov? Dan Tom, you go first.
I'm going to go chalky here because at first I wasn't sure he would even be a part of it. But if he's going to be, inserted into the tournament, even though, he has the champion spot, which we've seen other promotions do, then I got to go with Rory McDonald. I mean, as far as the favorite, I picked him, albeit slightly, against Lima. I could definitely see Lima taking it back in a rematch. Who knows what MVP is going to be capable of doing? We're only just seeing the surface of him. But as of right now, I got to go Rory.
Goze?
I'm going to go Douglas Lima. The only reason I'm doing it is because I don't know that Rory McDonald, even though it's staggered, can keep up with this type of schedule. It seems like after every fight, something's happened. And it's not anything against him, as he puts so much out there that he's just involved in battles. And Douglas Lima, I mean, he goes way back. And he's been able to, if you look at his frequency of fights, I think something like this is kind of suited for him. So I'm going to go with Douglas Lima.
I'm going to go with MVP. I think MVP, he was gone for 18 months, and in his last fight, it almost feels like because he's so long, he's so tall, he's got that reach, it just seems like he has a better grasp of using that space, his ability to dart in and out. And like you mentioned, Goze, I know he's past it, but that nose of Rory McDonald that just breaks and bothers him. And I feel like if MVP could boom, 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 get on that real quick, and he continues to work on that takedown defense, it just looks like it's a difficult puzzle to solve. It almost reminds me of like 2007, 2008 Lyoto Machida, where everyone was just coming up short, not being able to figure it out. And someone will at some point, but I think he can get past this tournament maybe and a couple fights in 2019 before someone just maybe does it. But between now and then, that's why I think we'll take it. So there you have it, folks. That's the daily debate for today. Here are the results according to how you voted, Junkie Nation. Readers, listeners, followers. 73% of you agreed with Dan Tom. He is the champ, and he's no joke, man. He's got a current win over the UFC welterweight champ, Tyron Woodley. 21% went with MVP. That's my horse. 4% only with Douglas Lima, who could have beaten Rory McDonald.
Yeah.
Remember how that fight played out?
Oh, yeah.
And he's a former champ, and he's had a lot of successes. And then 2% went with Andrei Koreshkov. The Russians were hitting that button, right?
Wow.
For their guy. There's a lot of them out there. There's a lot of fans out there, so they were digging it. All right, folks, that's our show for today, and that's today's Daily Debate. That's our show for today. We're out of here. Hope you all have a nice day. Going to drink some of this tea here, thanks to Emil Meek, TJ Dillashaw, T. Edwards, and if you haven't heard, Johny Hendricks, who retired on our show today. We'll see you all tomorrow. Until then, be a champion.